Oh, we're rolling. We're rolling. Well, welcome to the party, where you won't have a problem hearing either of us.
Yeah, I know, right?
Absolutely. Well, let's talk about it. Let's talk about
what a journey.
It has been a journey.
We've never even done any. We do this, but not like this.
Yes, we've never done it on camera with microphones that we probably don't need anyway.
This is true.
So let's talk about it. Let's talk about, we were just figuring out the timeline. So I think we narrowed it down to 2018.
Yeah.
So we've been working together for 7 years.
Yeah.
And we took some breaks in there.
Yeah.
But tell us about what the importance for you of having the right title partner has looked like. Why did that get to be us? And I say get to because you're one of the people that we would look forward to working with.
Well, I appreciate that. Yeah. No, I mean, for me, it's such a I think people forget it's a communication business, and I really mean that without any BS, right? Like, even agents, like picking up their phone or anything else like that. But it's also execution. So you guys always executed, and there's what do you probably get all the time? Hey, can I get this tomorrow? Or can I, right? That's probably, that's your favorite thing, right? But that's me too. But, you're able to kind of step up to the plate and meet those needs. And, I've gone through different type of niches, with my investment clients. Then when all I did was luxury, and then I mixed all of them together. So that's different demands for each.
Yeah. And then we recently did a rebrand, if I can talk today. And that was a process, and how did we kind of work together through that? Because I don't think everybody knows, like, all of the things that we do. I always say, title companies can help you in 100 different ways. Right. But because your business has changed over the years, you've probably, used 2 to 3 of this variety and then switched over to use 2 to 3 of this variety. Yeah. And now here we're sitting here doing this variety.
Right. And I think you have to continue to do that, to adjust, to be cliche, like a chameleon, because now AI and now different things, and people are trying different things, and I think that's good. So I don't think ever staying what I would have done 5 years ago would not be working right now.
Right.
And so that's why, when I've gone to you guys, not so much, hey, I don't want to do what's working for others, but what, with my strengths, with this business that I do, what can we do? And then we've always forged the path, so that's why it worked. So, so I lean on you guys for ideas too, and for, production and getting my stuff out there too, and it's worked. So that's like my always bottom line. If something works, then I don't really, I kept plumbers and painters and my title, and I don't let them go. You keep that, and then that's the best way to kind of keep the machine rolling, I think.
I think we relate that way. We were talking a little bit about our Midwestern values. So a lot of people might not know that about you. I think there's a few things people probably don't know about you. But we're both from the Midwest. How do you feel like Midwestern values translate into your life today, and how does that impact your clientele, your audience? And we're kind of talking about how it impacts your partnership.
Yeah. I think that's a great question. By the way, this is totally unproduced. We're just going over.
Yeah, we're rolling.
The one thing I would just say is God, I don't want these to sound cheesy or anything, but like family-wise, I don't know, I was Midwest family, and I say this all the time. I'm like, somebody asks me for a referral, I'm like, hey, talk to XYZ and they'll treat you like family. And that's the way I like to keep it. A lot of times we have investment clients and they come in, the first thing they're like, hey, when can we get a beer? When can we do that? I love that. I really do. That's one of my favorite things. I guess I don't say it enough, but when somebody's like that, that means they actually want to, continue to see you and work with you versus a lot of times you go through a transaction, you never see the person again and whatever. And that's not really the way to keep your business, I think. So that's one, I think. What about you?
Midwestern values, I think
we talk loud.
We do talk loud. So it's important to project when we have to do video and things, and we have to present sometimes in title. I would say my Midwestern values, we talked a little bit about loyalty, and there's a work ethic there. I think I'm like what do you call it, a cusper of a millennial, and there's belief that generation doesn't work as hard, and so forth, and it's just in the DNA for me we were talking about picking up the phone on Saturdays, and some people are just hard no, not going to do that outside of my parameters, and you and I have related. I know I've texted with you, talked to you on the weekends.
Yes.
Not that it's always
Yeah.
like, we also have to have those boundaries for our family. I know you
Yeah.
have a little one and I have a little one,
Yeah.
and I try to pour back in
Yeah.
for the time that I don't spend in that
Right.
on the weekends, those family values. But I think there's just this inherent drive that comes from like truly working. I don't think maybe there's not a lot of generational wealth as much there.
No.
You know,
Well, there's
like
not.
I have never talked about that out loud, but now that I'm thinking through it, I'm like, I wasn't raised that way.
I wasn't
like,
raised that way.
Yeah, so everybody around me had to bust their asses to choose
No,
language.
it's totally true.
You know?
I didn't really, you know, people are always like, have a plan B and stuff like that. I've only had 2 jobs, really, in my whole life for like extended point of time. In either one, I never really had a plan B. Once I got going, I was like, this is just, we're going to make it work.
Yeah,
I don't know
yeah.
how, but I'm going to make it work.
Yeah,
you know?
and failure was not an option. So yeah, I just kind of like unraveled and pieced that back together in my own brain, because in, you know, Scottsdale, PV, Phoenix, you're seeing all kinds of things. I was at the mall yesterday for lunch, to be clear, and because there's so many good new restaurants at the Fashion Square. We can talk about that too.
Yeah,
so I was pulling out, and there was a Lamborghini Urus, I think it's called, and there must have been 7 teenagers. They must have been on fall break or something, packed into this car. I'm like, there was nobody in like Orland Park, Illinois, driving a Lamborghini Urus. I was thrilled to get my mom's Nissan Maxima hand me down.
Yeah, I had an 86 Ford Ranger that I begged my dad to get.
Yeah, yes,
and it
totally.
was just, you know, I clunked around town in Menor, Ohio to get
I've
rolling.
never been so thrilled. The car had leather seats, and remember the seatbelts that went like this?
Yeah.
I'm aging myself.
It's good to remember those times,
it
though.
was very
I used to
fancy.
put my lawnmower in the back of the truck, and I would tie it down with like one strap, and I would drive around to cut people's lawns. That's what I did for like forever when I was a kid. That's how I made my money. People would see me driving by, the lawnmower in the back, and a little gas tank.
Oh, totally. I worked. My first job was I think I was too young to be working, but I don't think the store's around anymore, so they can't get in trouble. But my grandma got me a job at her friend's boutique that sold like prom dresses. But I couldn't actually like help the people because I was just a baby, so I just did all the grunt work around there. Like this lady had a bird, I would clean up after her bird. I don't even like birds.
But you did what
I just did what she asked me to do, man. You know, and I got a little paycheck at the end of that. Yeah.
That's you and the fake it till you make it thing has never been a part of my game or anything else like that. I know not yours either. So it's just like learning. You know, people always ask me like, oh, you know, how did you get to point A to point B? I'm like, sometimes you got to get your teeth kicked in a little bit.
Oh,
right?
I've had
Failure,
them kicked in a few times.
Failure, I think, is always the biggest driver of success to me in both of the things that I've done. I mean, you got to get tossed around a little bit to.
Oh yeah, I always tell the story of how I ended up in title. I worked for startups, which are notorious for like opening, closing, selling, and I had like the same job for almost a decade. Went to a startup, lost my job 6 months later through a layoff. Lost another job 6 months later, and the first people that called were a little title company that was a startup, and I didn't know what it was, but I was like, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
And here I am.
Yeah, here you are, yeah.
Yeah. You've mentioned the 2 jobs that you've had. I don't think a lot of people know this. I know this. But I want to hear a little bit about your previous role in life and what that looked like and how that translates.
Yeah, I mean, well, I was a TV I was a sports anchor for 15, 20 years, and I never thought I'd do anything else. I really didn't. I thought I'd do it till I was like a 70-year-old man. But, you know, the digital age and everything changed, and, you know, I moved here to continue it, and plan A became plan B. I got my real estate. Some people know the story. I got my real estate license as a joke, kind of. I was just kind of like, oh, maybe I'll give this. I got like 6 months, 7 months, you know, I'll try this. And then I was like, oh, at least I can afford a little bit of time to do some stuff, you know, because the weekends were toast if you wanted to do anything sports related. Yeah. Not that it's time management is any little bit better, but I guess you can pick and choose your spots a little bit better. Maybe?
Yeah.
Is that possible? I don't know. So yeah, no, that's why I did that for as long as I did, and now I've done this for 8, 10 years. 8, 9 years, and I mean that's my adult life, and I'm in. I don't even know if I want to date myself, but you know, that's That's the only two.
We're not exactly millennials. We'll put it that way. And how do you feel like that skill set? Because obviously, and we talked about this. I remember talking to you about this, about you starting to do video in real estate.
Yeah. When nobody was doing video. Yeah.
Yeah. And how that was like going to be such an easy transition, but even you struggled to like just do it, right?
Yeah,
and that's something I just started doing this year. Like, I just got over it and started doing it, right?
Yeah, I think it's different when you're forced to do it. Like I was live or I was on a show and I knew how to do it, but when you don't, it's just like anything else. You don't have to do it. I mean, we don't have to do it. It's like, all right, maybe I'll go do something. But, and then you get in a role of doing it. And I think it's just like anybody else. I would, there's agents out there, I still think that they're like, I don't want to do that. I just say, just get the stuff that's just like, you think it's pathetic, but just get it out there. And you'll get better at it. You will.
It's usually like the most mundane things. Like I've had times where I've thought I executed and like planned and strategized this like perfect video, and nobody cares about it.
Right.
And then I'll post something about me drinking a Diet Coke or my daughter, and people are bonkers over it. I think we have a tendency to like get that analysis paralysis where we think about it too much.
It's very, very true. A lot of the times the thing that will get the most engagement, we're talking about some analytical market update status thing, and then I talk about some neighborhood and an event that I had over there, and that could generate way more. I don't know. So you just got to try new things. I don't know. Yeah, and in the video, I think it does work. So people want to see what you're doing and how you do it, right?
Yeah, I mean, even the people that don't engage, and I'll always call them out, they'll be like, I see you everywhere. Like, I see your videos. Like, I talked to one of my family members the other day. She's like, what's up, Miss Instagram? And I'm like, you don't like my videos, though. But, like, once I started doing it, the analytics, it was undeniable that it was working. So that I was kind of like...
Yeah, but now look at how good you're at doing it.
Well, now I got to do this consistently.
Yeah.
So really just putting it on my calendar at least once a month was huge to get like that evergreen content out of the way. Now we're starting to do more of this kind of stuff with our clients because we have a lot of evergreen content, if you will, but just doing it and posting it and looking the other way. Like, I don't even listen to myself. I'll just watch the captions to make sure I didn't make some like huge error of some sort. Yeah. And I'm like, I don't want to listen to myself. I'm just posting it and moving on.
No, you're doing great. It's just like the experience thing. I like back in the day, I used to tell my interns, I'm like, just do it. Yeah. I don't even care what it sounds like. If you think sometimes you think you're talking in a foreign language, or you're so damn nervous that you don't even, the words can't go from here to here, right? And then eventually you become so comfortable at it and be able to engage, because that's the whole point. You want to actually engage the person, make sense, and then eventually that'll flow, and anybody can do it. So
yeah, how do you deal with a teleprompter? Because for me, if I have a script, I'm a mess.
Yeah.
But if I'm talking to you like this, like I can just sit and chat all day.
I used to make bullet points it would drive producers crazy. I used to make bullet points of ideas, and then I talk about them, but you're timed. So, you know me, I could go on one bullet point for forever, but I didn't mind either. But having just a show that was like the shows that we did that were just kind of like this were always the ones that I loved, because that's just more natural, right? I mean, I always wrote my own stuff. I never had a producer. Maybe sometimes on some things, but I always wrote my own stuff anyway. And that's my problem now when I write emails, because I write like I talk. And I was an English major, right? And I had journalism, but I
write. I learned something new today.
Yeah, English and journalism, but I write like I talk, and I've always done it that way. So when you get an email from me, it's like a conversational piece. It's not a very...
Yeah, no, I can see that now when we talk about it that way. And now you have ChatGPT for those things.
I know, so that's why maybe I got to slow down sometimes and throw it in there.
All right, so some rapid fire questions based on a lot of what we just learned about you. Top 3 favorite sports teams.
Well, so that's it's easy. It's all going to be Ohio stuff. So there's loyalty. I don't veer away. I think I know yours are too. It's Ohio State. It's the Browns, and it's the Cavs. So those are. Then it's all.
Well, Ohio State needs no explanation. Everybody I know that is from Ohio is an Ohio State fan. The Cavs are good again, so that's nice, right?
Yeah.
The Browns.
They stink.
Yeah, the Browns are the Browns.
But I'm loyal. It's a horrible.
I took the opposite approach. I've lived half my life here and half my life back in Illinois. So when I moved here, the Suns were great. It was the Steve Nash era.
Yeah.
And I hadn't been excited about basketball since my Bulls went from the peak of being the Bulls to straight off a cliff.
Right.
And it was a really sad era. I just remembered how much I loved basketball when I got here again. So I cheer for both the football and basketball teams for both of my cities.
That's fair.
Chicago teams
that's
and Arizona.
fair.
And it's really not that different, I've learned, because they both ultimately build you up to let you down.
Yeah.
They have a very similar record of being there's the hope and then there's the devastation.
Yeah.
For both the basketball team and the football team. So I watch the Bears and the Cardinals every Sunday, and it's very similar emotions. Although the Bears are doing better.
I don't have similar emotions, but when I covered them, when you cover a team, you just naturally get to know the players and their coaches. Then you just root for them. So I'll always U of A basketball and ASU and U of A people and ASU people are like, what the hell does that mean? But I don't care because I didn't go to either, so I like them both. And then the Valley sports too. So those would be under my top three.
Under the umbrella.
Under the umbrella.
We've talked, and I mentioned it very briefly about the mall and the restaurants. So since I've been here in Arizona from the Midwest, I went from being in the city of Chicago and being very judgmental of the culture and what Arizona had to offer, and the growth the past, I'd say, 5 years has been very explosive in terms of Arizona coming into its own with entertainment, food, and you and I are both foodies. Yeah. So the top three favorite restaurants.
Oh shoot, mine, and I know this is debatable. Buck and Ryder is my number one. That's like my go-to.
It's a good one.
Oh man, I got to do a top three. So Buck and Ryder. Oh my gosh, this is going to be hard. But I go Buck and Ryder, and then I go maybe, I'm just shooting out there. DiMaggio's has crept up there now because it's right down the street, and they opened up another location. And then, oh my gosh, this is supposed to be rapid fire. I don't know what my third would be. Give me your three. What are your three?
Well, I think it depends what I'm going for. Buck and Ryder is definitely up there as a go-to. If I'm going for a celebration of sorts, I think we tend to gravitate towards the 44.
I used to live at Toca Madera, so I guess there I could throw that. But it's still an oldie but a goodie. I used to go there just all the time, so I guess there would be my top three.
Yeah, so if I'm going to celebrate, I'd say probably my favorite place to just go on the fly is Fire at Will, which is on Tatum and Shea. They have I'm a burger girl, and they have the best burger. I can go there on a date. I can go there in my sweatpants. I love that about it. Okay. So I'd say that's the most functional place. I'd say Catch is probably my favorite new restaurant.
I haven't been, so I got to check
that I've been to. I just tried it.
Yeah.
My son says that it's the best restaurant he's been to in his whole life.
Oh wow, okay.
I like the experience of trying new things. I'd say the Ends is.
Oh yeah, I went there. I didn't even.
Is a good repeat place because it's I gravitate towards places where I can be cash or have a date, and I feel like you can do either there. So
that's a good one. I didn't even think about that.
Those are my three, but Buck and Ryder's a great go-to. I'd say that's probably on my husband's top two list because he's a seafood guy.
Yeah.
Not that I'm not, but that Midwest meat and potatoes girl comes out. That's why the steakhouses come up. Although I do still feel the Mastro's butter cake is superior to what they have going on at 44.
I'll take them both, but I would agree with that, too. No, Mastro's for steak, yes. That's what's horrible. I can't pick because it's so bad. I live within 5 minutes of all those, so that's why
you're
I'm
an old town guy.
Yeah, so that's why people are like, well, what do you do when you want to go out? I'm like, I can do anything. I got it. That's why I love living there. I sell there. I live there. I don't know. It's we joke around about this all the time, and my friends know this. This is the thing. Hey, what do you do tonight? I'm probably staying in the bubble. I don't leave my bubble.
I probably wouldn't do much else
either. I don't leave my
either.
bubble, but
it's fair. I understand. So on that note, we're talking about Midwest transitions. 3 things that you wish you knew as a Midwestern transplant coming to Arizona that you would tell to, friends, family, buyers?
Well, I learned, and again, this is if you can, get yourself to a position to have one, you have to have a pool in the summer. I don't know. At least that's for me. I don't know, but that's like a number one thing for me. So I learned the hard, when you get here, I think that first summer is always like the worst. And I don't know if you ever get used to it, but now I'm like, this is funny. When I lived in Cleveland, people would always be like, Dave, can you believe the snow and the weather? Because it's crazy. I'm like, yeah, because it happens every winter. Yeah. In the summer here, people are like, can you believe how freaking hot it is out today? I'm like, yeah, it happens every summer. Yeah. Right?
But I'll still take I tell people outside of Arizona that they're like, wow, it's hot there. I'm like, I'll take the AC and the heat in the summer over the gray, slushy winters.
I would agree
and
with that.
And that frigid, biting cold. It's beautiful. I'm going to New York for Christmas or for Thanksgiving to see the Christmas stuff, and I love it for that capsule, that encapsulated
but
moment.
You can leave.
But to live it, people don't see New York in the slush. I don't miss slush and the scraper thing. Remember the scraper?
I used to go out to the cars, turn it on, go back inside, wait about 10 minutes for it to thaw. Mm-hmm. I mean, doing that whole thing, no, I can't. And I always thought I would go back just because I didn't know any better. And I was in the sports world in Cleveland, this huge sports town, so I was like, I'll always be back. And then after 3 years of being here, I'm like, I'm never going back. Mm-hmm. So now I've been here ever since.
Same. Well, thank you for taking time with us today. Hopefully this was beneficial for you. It was enlightening.
Yeah, it was always fun.
We got to talk about some of my favorite things: Midwestern people and sports and food.
Yeah. But what about you? I'll ask you one thing because then, just like both of us, we both built teams, and that's one of the things I was going to talk about later with when Keegan gets in. But team building, you've built something for. I mean, we met. We were both. We've evolved so much. It's like we always talk about. So,
and that's my favorite part.
How we got from there to here. Yes. Isn't that crazy?
Well, it's my favorite part of my job is watching and betting on people early in their career, seeing the propensity to grow.
That's a cool thing to say.
And building alongside them, and then having those moments where you can look back and say, and hopefully think that I had some small part. I'm not an egomaniac where I'm like, oh, I did this. But that we did this. We have this really weird job and title where we're entirely dependent on real estate agents to grow our business, right?
Totally.
Because the consumer just doesn't care about title. They depend on you.
Right.
And because of that, I grow my business by growing your business. So that's been a really cool journey. I think so my team was birthed out of the idea that we sell on average a $4,000 product. You might sell a $400,000 product. You might sell a $4 million product. But really you have to do volume in order. And we don't get that whole $4,000, by the way. There's
you don't tell, I know how it all works. But that's the same thing with people when they see commission checks. I'm like, man, if I got that, it would be wonderful.
Yes, absolutely. So people don't understand that. So a lot of people are like, well, why do you have a team, or why do you work with so many real estate agents? I'm like, I don't really have a choice. Yeah. We have to do it in volume. And when I had made a commitment to my clients to maintain a certain level of care, and I take, like we talked about work ethic, turnaround time, I wasn't going to be able to grow anymore without sacrificing the service, because I can't be everywhere all at once.
Right.
And I hired my first assistant, I think in 2017, right before I met you. So I think I was a 2-person team when I met you. Was that right?
I remember who.
Yeah. So we were a 2-person team, and then that worked out so well that I hired another person, and we branded the team, and started kind of siphoning off people in their specialties. So for us, we complete about 200 real estate projects a week. A project being, it could be a postcard, a social post. So that's per week. So I have somebody that's command center air traffic control, making sure that everything gets from your request to your doorstep. And then I have a designer. And then most recently, we've added Justin to the team, who you've gotten to meet with. Yeah, and we're really doubling down on helping our clients in their overall digital presence and strategy. So I take my time is all spent in top client meetings, strategy sessions, and new agent development. But we all kind of have our lanes, and that way you're not getting. I'm not a designer. You don't want me designing your postcard. You don't even want me, and you don't even want me proofreading your postcard. I have somebody that's really good at that. I have the person that actually cares that that's where it's supposed to be, because your seller's going to care when it hits mailboxes,
of course.
Right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So that's kind of where it started, and now probably a year ago we added the equivalent of what would be a buyer's agent, and she's a force on her own, but specializes in the West Valley, which is Samantha Jones. So that's something that I don't know that's been done in title before, and I wasn't sure how it was going to work out. But
that's trying new things, seeing what works.
So I think it's more about quality at this point, because I've seen what not having the right people in place, how that can derail
completely.
The morale, the actual outputs, the quality, and ultimately the client experience. So we're not huge on let's add 5 more people to the team in the next year. It's more like, what systems can we deploy to not have to hire and keep the culture the way that it is? Because we have a really good vibe going on right now.
I agree.
Yeah.
So I'm here. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. How about you? You have a team now.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like that old saying, the lone wolf doesn't survive thing, even though that's bullshit and sounds cheesy. But it's just, I think you have to, after a certain while, you have to build your team. And then as an agent, you have to build your team outside of your team with your vendors, with your lenders, with your plumbers, that's why I said for the longest time, now I can actually make it a literal one-stop shop for my services. We could build you a home. We can do total reno. I can do it all now. When I started, there, I didn't have any of that kind of stuff. So it takes a little while.
Yeah, no, it's been an amazing journey to watch. But that's, I think, the most effective, right? Yeah.
Yeah, when you have so much more to offer. So, team.
Go team. We didn't.